Here's Heidi and Frank on 95.5 KLOS and KLOS HD1, Los Angeles.
Heidi and Frank show. Two of the all-time iconic bands, Kiss and Def Leppard, announced that they're going to be on tour together.
Huge.
And Joe Elliot, is he here? Is he in the Bristol Farms Green Room hanging out? Get Joe Elliot in here. Hello.
There he is.
Come on in, sir.
Hiya, Joe.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
We've had all the other guys in, and
I don't know what they are.
we saved the
They
best
don't
for
get
last.
up this time of day. I've got jet lag, so I've been up for hours.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not even to bed
Where'd
yet.
you come from?
Dublin Island.
Oh, my
That's
God.
where I live. We flew in the day before, did all the press stuff yesterday for the big tour this summer. And here I am.
How long was the planning of that tour that you guys were able to keep such a huge secret?
It was been on the, it's the worst kept secret in rock and roll probably, but the suits have been working behind the scenes on it for months, crossing the T, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. But the do you want to tour with Kiss this summer question was like all answered yes by all 9 members of both bands, as it were, months ago. But then there's all this, the usual negotiations of who gets the biggest dressing room.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Or whatever happens.
I bet Gene Simmons has got that.
No. Actually, in fairness, those guys have been amazing. It was very, very. Yesterday, the whole pressing. Myself and Rick Savage did a whole kind of load of TV with Gene and Paul, and they were just very graceful people. It was,
Yeah, nice guys.
it's going to
been
be
in
cool. It's going to be great.
I saw the picture of the press conference where it had they were all in full makeup on the,
And we had suits on.
and you guys had
And we looked
That
like
is awesome.
we looked like 4 foot tall.
They were just
It's like we
gigantic.
should have had boxes to stand on. I'm 6'2", and I look like
Hard
the
to
guy
compete
out
with those
of-
platform
I
heels.
look like the little guy off the island.
A tattoo.
Tattoo, that's the guy. Yeah.
No, you're going to be playing 2 shows here in Los Angeles.
Yes, we are.
One at the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater on July 5th, and then at the Forum on July 8th.
Yeah, we haven't played the Forum in years. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, huh?
First time we played the Forum, first time we headlined the Forum was on the Pyromania tour. And Brian May was in town and he got up and played, jammed.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
It's actually on the re-release of the Pyromania album, the bonus disc has got the a live gig, and it's ourselves and Brian May did, we encored with the Travelling Band by Creedence. And it was
how
great. It
awesome.
was for us as kids growing up as Queen fans. I remember sitting in the auditorium at soundcheck and watching him soundchecking his guitar. He said, "Can I get up and play with you guys?" We're like, "Are you kidding me?"
yeah.
And he started playing Photograph. And we're like going,
Oh, no.
10 years ago, I was buying
Goosebumps.
Now I'm Here by Queen, and I never thought in a million years that I'd be getting up on stage with Brian.
I never thought in a million years I'd be sitting here with Joe Elliott.
I know.
Me neither.
Yeah.
He's very overrated.
We'd never meet.
At 9 in the morning,
I had obviously the Union Jack
It was,
sleeveless.
it was very popular.
I probably still have it. That's something you just don't throw away. But now it probably look like a halter top on me because I've gained a
I
little
wouldn't put that
size.
on. Maybe they could
since,
get you
you
a
could
new
use it as a dishcloth.
exactly.
Maybe you could have the guys get you a new one.
Yeah, make some new ones. We did actually sell them again on a tour about 10 years ago. Somebody said you should sell this.
Oh, of
jacket
course,
again.
yeah.
So we did, and we used it in a video for the song "Now" back in 2002. The whole thing about this shirt, somebody found the old Leppard shirt in some second-hand store, and he gets it back home, and his sister sees it, and she takes it, and she swaps it out for a backstage pass, and the shirt ends up going round and round, and ends up back with the guy that originally had it. It's kind of comical. Check it out; it's on YouTube.
Happening.
You guys just released a deluxe edition of your 1996 classic album Slang, which contains the original 11 album tracks remastered and original rare bonus tracks made up of demos, alternate versions, and mixes. Did you guys have...
Well read, sir. Well read.
Did you have... I know, that's what I do. Did you have all that stuff sitting in a box someplace?
Yeah,
Like, hey,
yeah.
people want to see this stuff.
I
or
think
listen-
so. I've often said, when it comes to box sets, if the Who were to put something out and so he said, well, you've got 2 choices. There's a brand new Who song or there's this undiscovered 1964 song. Which one do you really want to hear? You want to hear the old one,
Now, when it says alternate versions, are you talking like pour some Splenda on me, pour some
Update it.
stevia, pour some...
Well,
You wanna
some of
update
them are
it.
in Swahili, some of them are in German. No, it's little things. It's just things we'd forgotten ourselves. That might not seem like a big deal, but then I think I buy the box sets of other bands
Right.
or re-releases, and you just hear one little turn, one little twist, and you go, "Oh my god!"
I also like the talk, like when you guys are in a studio and you're talking back and forth to each other, all that stuff normally on a regular CD or
In a
album.
recording session.
Yeah,
It's
well, there's
is
not much
cut out,
talking between. There's no interaction between the band. There's just 38 tracks. There was only 11 on the original album, so there's different lyrics. There's different with different choruses for certain songs, and as a music fan, I think it's, you've got to pretend to be on the outside looking in and go, well, how did you react when you heard such and such? I remember when I was a kid, All the Young Dudes came out by Mott the Hoople, and their lyric was, and Wendy's stealing clothes from Marks and Sparks, which is an English term for a shop called Marks and Spencer's. And apparently they had a bit of an issue with it, so they had to go back in and re-record it, and he changed it to Wendy's stealing clothes from unlocked cars. And so there are actually two versions of the song. I think one of them's withdrawn. So as kids, it was the holy grail to try and find the Marks and Sparks version, which eventually turned up on some random collection of, a best of. And when you got it, it was like a big deal.
Right.
David Bowie did the same thing with a song called John I'm Only Dancing. There's a sax version where he's got him playing saxophone, and there's a version without it. And for all Bowie fans, it's like,
So what
you
is-
had to have both. So I see what it's like, when people go, I love what you did to, or, you changed the song Work It Out. There's a wah-wah bass on the original, but on the first draft of it, there was no wah-wah bass. So you've got all these, slight differences.
So when you were holding on to this stuff since you released the album originally, did you know at some point you would? Like, who had the stuff in there?
Me.
You had it?
You're the pack rat.
I'm the pack rat, yeah.
Thank God.
I've got a studio, so I've got a tape library, and everything that we do gets put in there, and the format changes. It used to be big reels of tape, and then when the digital thing came in, what we ended up doing was we copied all the tape into Pro Tools, and we just, now everything's on multiple hard drives in case. Who knows what hard drives will do to it themselves in 20 years.
Right.
They might just implode. So we've still got the tapes put away. Whether they'll survive 20 more Irish winters, I have no idea.
So how much more do you have,
We have
stored
loads.
away that you could just keep
See,
releasing
every album
stuff?
that we've done since, I think, 93, we get the ownership back after 15 years. So this year we can do the same thing with Euphoria, and then in 3 years' time we can do the same thing with X, and so on and so forth. So we have plenty of things. I mean, there are a lot of songs out there that you just wouldn't think are actually available, but they were. The 90s was a very irritating time of music where the record companies say, okay, we're going to put a single out, but we need 3 more tracks for the CD. So you put out a CD single, and it's like, well, when am I going to we've spent 4 years making 10 songs.
Right.
Now we have to pull another 15 out of a hat. So the quality goes down because you finish off songs that you're not really
Because like blah,
never
blah,
made
blah,
the
blah,
album.
blah, 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 that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
they didn't make
that's
the
good.
album for a good reason, but now we've got to release them officially. But they may have only come out in Turkey or Germany or something. So a
don't
lot of
care.
them actually have been out before, but not all gathered on the one disc or the 2 discs. So.
Joe Elliott's hanging out with us. Def Leppard and Kiss are going on tour this summer. You also have your album from Down and Out's coming out next month. Where do you find the time? You got the Kiss tour, you got this other album coming out, you're going to be in a movie.
He just doesn't sleep. He just stays
I'm
awake.
producing the Black Star Riders, which was originally Thin Lizzy, their new album in October as well. But yeah, the Down and Outs record, I've been kind of working on it on and off for about 2 years because I had to keep putting it on hold to go out and do Leopard things. It's very annoying. But you just have to realise that which one of the two is the boss. And
Yeah.
the Down and Outs is a fun project. It's not a vanity project by any means. It has become a serious thing with both. Essentially there's a band called I think over here they're called the English Choir Boys. But they had a massive album about 20 years ago, sold over 1 million here. So they are kind of well known within the rock field, if you like. And when Mott the Hoople reformed in 2009, I'd been their like cultural ambassador for 35 years because they're my favourite ever band. And the guys, just as a thank you, said, well, "Will you open for us one night?" And I thought, well, how am I going to do that? And the promoter said, well, he looked after the Choir Boys as well. He says, I can loan you the Choir Boys and give Spike their Sing of the Night off, as it were. So they came in and we independently learnt a bunch of songs, which were all Mott the Hoople related, but not actually Mott songs, because you know, you can't be an opening act for Motley Hoople and play Motley Hoople songs.
No, but
you know?
here's the.
But when they split in '74, they split into like 3 different factors. You got Ian Hunter went solo. The rest of the guys abbreviated the name to Mott, and they went out with a new singer called Nigel Benjamin, who was actually in a band called London with Nicky Sixx back in the late '70s. And I did a bunch of songs from the post Hoople stuff. And thinking the fans would love this. If they were Motley Hoople fans, they probably followed the splinter groups, as it were, after the fact. And this will be a fun thing to do. So it was a 45-minute gig, and that's all it ever was going to be until we went to the bar, and we had kids with tears in their eyes shoving us up against the wall going, "You have to make a record."
Oh, wow.
And it happened to us like 12 times in 15 minutes. So I looked at the guy and said, "Do you
Maybe
want
we have
to
to
do
make
this?
a record.
While the songs are still in our DNA, shall we go in and record them?" So we did, and we filmed the gig as well, so it came out on DVD. And the first album, I couldn't believe how well it did over here. I had a couple of songs hit that media-based rock chart #1, well, one of it #1, the other one at top 4. So I thought, well, this is fun, and you're just doing songs that are already written, so you're never in that situation where you're going, we need to make the chorus
Stressed
better.
out,
It's all done, so it's a kind of a covers project, but great songs. And this time, because we're not opening for Hoople, we could go into their catalogue. So went pretty deep into stuff like Marionette and Violence and Crash Street Kids. None of their hits, just all the
How about
real
the night
cool
that
album
you
tracks.
opened for yourself?
Oh, the Dead Flat Bird?
Dead
thing.
Flat
Yeah.
That story is so fantastic
Yeah.
for people who don't know.
Well, there we were. Well, how are we going to do this Vegas thing? And the main headline set, the Hysteria thing, was running about an hour 20. An hour 15. So that's plus stick an encore onto that. You're looking at an hour 25. So this is a good length of time, but there's got to be somebody doing the 45-minute opening set, and we said, well, we'll do it and pull out the most obscure Leppard songs that, for the last 20 years, because of the internet, we've always had the naysayers, and as we call them, Dorito Boy, the guy that still lives in the basement with his mom,
Right.
that moans and groans about your website, but he's never ever been to, about your set list, but he's never been to a gig.
Right.
And we thought, you know what, we're going to shut him up. So the first song that we played on night 1 was Good Morning Freedom, which is a B-side of a 33-year-old single called Hello America. And we thought, we went out there, and it ended up on YouTube by midnight. They didn't even know what it was called. I thought, yes, we win,
So what did the audience say?
They were perplexed for 5 or 6 minutes until we'd play something like Wasted or Rock Brigade.
But you went out not looking like yourself, obviously.
No, we are. Phil wore a shirt, which is very unusual. I was top hat, and I looked like the bastard son of Steven Tyler and Mick Jagger and David Johansen. Scarves hanging off the mic stand, and I was wearing earth colours, which I never wear, and shades and a top hat. And of course, you go into a different persona, so you talk differently. You make fun of me, saying that I wouldn't give them any stage space. And we set it up so that the back line was like 6 foot from the front of the stage, so there's no room. And we just had a big Union Jack blocking off the $1 million Hysteria set, But we had people that know us watching it going, I didn't realize that was you guys.
That's awesome.
And we're like, are you kidding me? It's like, you need to go to opticians.
Speaking of acting, you are going to be in a movie that's coming out called The Bridge.
Yes, apparently I am. I'm looking forward to collecting my Oscar next year.
Oh.
I'm going to write my speech after
Oscar
we've done
talk,
this.
yeah.
No. It's one of these pledge films. They're pledging it, and when they've got all the funding together, it's going to be it's a music movie, and obviously they're just kind of getting in a lot of musicians because we're cheap, and it'll have more of an authentic thing to it, because if we have to discuss the hardships of making it in the business, we actually do have a bit of background information that's pretty accurate. So it should be a bit of fun.
When you look at the hardships in the business, when you guys first started out, like a rejection letter that you got, or like when someone said, maybe you should go back to doing whatever you do before.
I just saw one recently. Somebody sent me one, and it was addressed to Paul Hewson. Thanks for the tape. It's not really what we're looking for right now. Of course, Paul Hewson is Bono.
yeah.
It's like, nah.
Not
you're
really
thinking,
what we're looking
that's
for.
like the poor guy that turned the Beatles down, and it's like, how do you ever live that down,
He's probably jumped off the building at this
Decca
point.
said, it's not for us. It's like, wow,
Someone told Elvis Presley to start driving trucks
we
again.
made an independent EP because we figured everybody makes cassettes and sends them in, and they just become doorstops, something to stand a coffee on. let's make a vinyl thing and put a picture sleeve on it. So when they open it, they go, oh, they've made a bit of effort. It hopefully goes to the top of the pile, if nothing else. And we sent that out to like 100 different places, radio, BBC, people like John Peel, who was like a legend back in England back in the 70s, and all the music papers like Melody Maker, Sounds, Disc. And we got a few letters back going, no.
What would you be
But we
doing?
had some that were like, you know what? Yeah. And seriously, they all went out like January, February 78. And by August, we had 11 record companies chasing us. So it worked. You know.
What would
Yeah,
you have
it
been
definitely
doing,
worked.
Joe, if you weren't doing this?
Well, at the time, I was working in a factory, but I wouldn't be doing that now because I'd have shot myself.
yeah.
What were you
Or
making?
I would have. It was a steel works.
Oh, my Lord.
I wasn't actually making the steel. I was in the
Assembly
I was in
lines.
the buying department. I was responsible for buying in everything from soap and grinding wheels and having the laundry done. For
Thank God you got those 11 record deals, huh?
But
Yeah, exactly.
It
Thank
was
God,
great
huh?
because I only really had to work 2 hours a day, so I wrote most of my part of the first album down there. I had a guitar in the corner of my room, and I could hear the boss coming down the stone steps. So it's like, I know when to put it down, you know,
And get
pretend I'm
back
working. It was fun, man. It was fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Def Leppard and Kiss going on tour this summer. 2 shows here in Los Angeles. Verizon Wireless Amphitheater on July 5th and the Forum on July 8th. And I do happen to have a pair of tickets. I got them early. So give us a call if you'd like those. 1-800-955-5567. Joe
And
Elliott.
I'll drop you a copy of the Down and Outs album, The Further Adventures of. It comes out 22nd of April.
Definitely.
So I'll
Yeah,
make sure
we'd
you
love
guys
that.
get a copy of it.
Whenever you're back over this
Yeah,
way, come on
absolutely.
through, okay?
Thank you.
We'll be right back. We're Heidi and Frank.
That was just a little sample of the Heidi and Frank Show on 95.5 KLOS. Now, to get the show in its entirety, on demand, and if you want to watch the show, we webcast it every day, all you have to do is go to HeidiandFrank.com and become a premium package member. Do it right now.